Well, this is Modi government 3.0's first full budget that has now kept the middle class at the center. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, who presented her 8th consecutive budget, announced major tax reliefs for the Aam Aadmi, for the middle class. Now, those earning up to 12 lakh rupees per annum will not have to pay any taxes at all. This essentially means that the middle class will have more money in their hands and in their pockets that will spur household consumption, drive growth, while the Prime Minister has called this as a budget that will act as a force multiplier. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman saying that putting more money in people's pockets will boost consumption, hence will lead to growth in economy.
We are saying now they will have 1,10,000, lakh in their pockets, which they don't have to pay as tax. So we have put good substantial amounts into the pockets of people who deserve to get that. There is no reduction in the public spending on capital expenditure.
इसका बहुत बड़ा फायदा हमारे मिडिल क्लास को, नौकरी पेशे करने वाले जिनकी आय बंधी हुई है, इससे बहुत बड़ा लाभ होने वाला। जिनको नए नए जॉब मिले हैं, इनकम टैक्स की ये मुक्ति उनके लिए एक बहुत बड़ा अवसर बन जाएगी।
और 12 लाख रुपए तक हमारे मध्यम वर्ग के लोगों को इनकम टैक्स से मुक्ति देने का काम नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने।
Now let's get to the other side as well, because the tax-paying janta is ecstatic for years because they have been waiting with bated breath for this kind of relief. But the opposition, which is accusing the Modi government of crushing people under the tyranny of tax terrorism, still continues to remain cynical. Some are linking tax relief to elections, others who are of the view that reducing tax burden will not help reducing inflation as well. Leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi, says that this is like putting band-aid over bullet wounds. And former Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal is asking that why the government has not given any assurances on his demand that there shouldn't be any loan waivers for billionaires.
बजट का पूरा का पूरा लक्ष्य 25 लोगों को फायदा पहुंचाने का। आपको थोड़ा सा दे देंगे, कह देंगे भैया ये लो थोड़ा सा टैक्स माफ कर लेंगे। अगर आप बजट का लक्ष्य देखेंगे तो हिंदुस्तान का धन 20-25 अरब पतियों को देने का है।
क्या बजट ने हमारे लिए मरने वाले आंकड़े ज्यादा महत्वपूर्ण हैं?
तो सारे दल साथ थे सर।
जब जो सरकार मरने वाले आंकड़ों को न दे सके, हम इनके किस आंकड़े को मान लें?
Very disappointing budget. The budget seems to be like that is planned in such a way to woo the voters for Delhi, especially the Delhi election coming on the 5th of this month.
चुनाव की घड़ी है तो कहीं वही सोच कर तो चुनावी बजट पेश नहीं किया गया, और खासकर बिहार को फोरफ्रंट में लेके।
पार्टी के राष्ट्रीय संयोजक केजरीवाल जी ने उन्होंने कहा था कि भाई गवर्नमेंट इस बात के लिए देश को आश्वस्त करे, एश्योर करे कि जो पूंजीपति दोस्त हैं बीजेपी के, उनके कर्जे माफ नहीं किए जाएंगे।
Now, this is how the opposition mainly has been reacting, seems as far as a move that was well prepared when it comes to discrediting the budget that was announced by the Union Finance Minister. However, when it comes to the big ticket announcements that have been made by the government there, especially when it comes to the move that aims to alleviate the middle class concerns about their tax burden, especially after the previous corporate tax cuts. Now, the revised tax slabs means substantial relief when it comes to the middle class earners and those who have been making up to 12 lakh rupees getting a full rebate on their payable taxes. So let's get you exactly this bonanza that has now been announced for the middle class. So simplifying it, if you earn 1 lakh rupees per month approximately, you have to pay 0 tax. Your savings are about 80,000 rupees per year. No income tax that need to be payable up to 12 lakh rupees. However, what does it mean for you? Let's put that in perspective, especially what the Union Finance Minister has to say. That means more money in your hand. It will also give a boost to your household consumption. You'll be saving more money. You will be having more money in your pocket. You will be spending. As far as when it comes to money to have to spend, you will have, in fact, more money when it comes to investing as well. Now, as far as when it comes to these announcements that have been made in the budget speech, also came in an introduction of a new income tax bill in Parliament, which the Union Finance Minister said will be taken up in the coming week. According to the Finance Minister, a new bill that would be clear and direct in text would close half of the present law, and in terms of both chapters and in words as well. So let's take a look as far as the exemptions that we have seen in the last 20 years. Mega bonanza that has now come under the Modi government, especially from 2001, 2005, it was 1 lakh, to 2012, 2 lakhs, 2014, 2.5 lakh marginal, 2019 to 5 lakh, 2023 to 7 lakh, 2025, 12 lakh rupees. This seems to be the major boost that has now come across, especially when it comes to the taxpayers. Now, as far as when it comes to the tax slab and a drawn comparison that is now being drawn, especially when it comes to the previous tax that is now being seen as far as the old tax and the tax now, you can see the number of zeros there that you can see as far as when it comes to maximizing your savings in your account is concerned. And of course, when it comes to at least 12 lakh rupees, here is where when it comes to the government drawing the line, which will give a big boost, especially when it comes to driving the economy and turning into a developed nation. Viksit Bharat seems to be the main aim of the government for now, as time and again, as they have also been said. However, when it comes to the basic structure of the new tax slab that will now come into effect, let's in the meantime also talk about how the opposition have been reacting, because certain states there, especially down south, they have been disappointed. They say that they have been ignored. They say that when it comes to the states there who have been generating the maximum revenue, the leaders coming in from Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka have all stated that their states have been given a raw deal, and only states which are ruled by the BJP and its allies have been giving importance, stating that this does not have a vision for job creation. The budget had no proposal to improve India's investment climate, and no minimum support price guarantee for farmers, and no strategy also to counter inflation. They feel that they have been left out.
Karnataka, as you know, we are number 2. Bihar ಮತ್ತು ಆಂಧ್ರ ಪ್ರದೇಶ. ಬಿಹಾರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸಮ್ಮಿಶ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಇದೆ. ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೆ ಸರ್ಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ವಿಶೇಷ ಅನುದಾನ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಆಂಧ್ರಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರು ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ದುಡ್ಡು ನೀಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಎಂದು ಅದೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವರಿಗೆ ಕಳೆದ ವರ್ಷನೂ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು ಈ ವರ್ಷನೂ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು. ಇದೊಂದು ರೀತಿ ಬಿಹಾರ ಮತ್ತು ಆಂಧ್ರ ರಾಜ್ಯಗಳಿಗೆ.
The state of Kerala is being neglected once again. We had a number of demands, and all those demands were genuinely raised, but not even a single demand was properly accepted by the government. That is which I would like to say first. Secondly, whatever laws were there in our country to regulate the onslaught of these neoliberal policies, now that is going to be deregulated.
When we looked at the union budget today, as usual, as expected, I spoke with the media yesterday also and said that there will be nothing for Telangana, and there was nothing given to Telangana. It's really unfortunate that one newly formed state has been grossly ignored by this government in the consecutive last 11 budgets, which is an unfortunate state of affairs, because a union government is supposed to think about every state, but they're only thinking about the states which are going to elections. That is why today the entire union budget sounded like a Bihar election budget.
Now, this is how the opposition has been reacting. But at the end of the day, people are interested in knowing exactly what prices have, what commodities and items have gone up and what is now becoming cheaper. Let's put that out in perspective as well, because when it comes to costlier, the imported footwear, solar cells, PVC flex items, certain imported fabrics as well, and fully built interactive flat panel units, this is now gone as far as the customs duty that has been increased from 10% to 20%. Let's talk about the knitted fabrics here as well. That has also, when it comes to the prices going up, the customs duty that has also been increased from 10% to 20%. Let's talk about what all items that now become cheaper, which has now been announced in this budget. Especially, this is the most important one. life-saving medicines as well that have now, especially when it comes to the customs duty that has now, and we also talk about electronics here, the customs duty that has been lowered from 15% to 5%. We also talk about when it comes to the 36 drugs for cancer, these are life-saving drugs that we talk about, that has now been exempted from the customs duty. Now we talk about EVs and phone batteries as well. There are nearly 35 goods for EV battery conduction. When it comes to all of them, they have now been exempted. Seafood, the customs duty on frozen fish paste, that has now come down to 5%. There are certain equipments, the mobile equipments as well. So custom duty on certain mobile parts, when it comes to that, has now been exempted. That has now been nixed completely. And imports, when it comes to motorcycles, the duty on engine capacity with less than 1600 cc, that has now gone down to 40%. So this is as far as when it comes to the budget seats. That also includes when it comes to the items, the prices that have gone up and the prices that will now become cheaper. Let's talk about this exclusive interview to Times Now. Union Minister Piyush Goyal has now given it back to the opposition, saying that Budget 2025 is for the middle class and it will set a roadmap for Viksit Bharat 2047. Listen in.
Joining me this evening on Budget Day is Union Commerce and Industry Minister, Mr. Piyush Goyal. And Mr. Piyush Goyal, while the middle classes are rejoicing tonight because they've got huge tax reliefs, the question many are asking is, देर क्यों कर दी हुजूर आते आते? ये तो 400 पार वाला budget should have come last year. Why has it come this year?
कभी बजट माननीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने चुनाव के हिसाब से नहीं बनाए. Budgets are made based on the prevailing situation and a variety of other factors. So while for those, some people it may be an election issue, for us it's a matter of conviction that we have to serve the people of India, we have to serve every section of India. And last year different benefits were given to the middle class. Different tax reliefs were given in a different form. This year it's more direct in terms of massive tax cuts. So I think Prime Minister Narendra Modi has consistently ensured the welfare of every section of society.
Well, Mr. Piyush Goyal, let me ask you very directly. Rahul Gandhi says for bullet wounds, this announcement is merely just a band-aid. Shashi Tharoor goes a step further and says that great income tax relief for those who have salaries, but what about the jobless who have no salaries? How would you respond to them?
Well, I think first of all, Mr. Rahul Gandhi has never done any work in his life, so he will never understand how great a tax relief that Prime Minister Modi and Nirmala ji have given today is to the middle class. For Mr. Rahul Gandhi, probably it doesn't matter, and for him it may be a very small thing or a band-aid. But I'm sure the people of India, the people of Delhi, the common man, the middle class, who's almost relieved of their tax burden with 12 lakhs, 12.75 lakhs for salary earners being now nil tax. It's a great benefit and everybody is welcoming it. As regards Mr. Shashi Tharoor's comment, I think he has not understood the budget only. This budget is so holistically well designed. It looks after jobs in a variety of ways. It addresses sector-specific ideas, toys, footwear and leather items, what needs to be done to make it easier to do business, how startups will be promoted with startup fund of funds too. The effort has been through a variety of measures to make this a budget focus on creating more jobs. Now take tourism for example. We all recognize tourism is the largest job creator in the world. 50 destinations with a focus on marketing those destinations, improving their infrastructure, ensuring even basic things like security and sanitation. I think it's a very well-designed, comprehensive budget which will have a transformative impact on creating jobs, either through manufacturing thrust, either through tourism, either through infrastructure creation or food processing, fisheries. It has a multi-dimensional job creation possibility.
Mr. Goyal, let me also ask you, there are many memes that are doing the rounds, which make a cartoon of Donald Trump and Indians as understanding कि वो तारीफ कर रहे हैं India की. Actually, he's talking about tariffs. On a serious note, are we worried about the tariff regime that US might announce? They've already begun to announce this against Canada, Mexico, other countries. Is that something that is making markets as well as the Indian economy nervous?
Well, I think every country has a right to determine their tariffs, and the United States has determined certain tariffs on many countries, but not increase any tariffs on India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Donald Trump share a very, very good equation and friendship. It has been reported that Prime Minister Modi will soon be visiting the US. Logistics and dates are being worked out. So I think we will continue to strengthen and build upon this wonderful relationship and the growing strategic partnership between the US and India. Things will only get better and a plethora of opportunities will open up for India.
Well, that is how the Union Minister has also responded, but mainly talking about the Prime Minister yesterday. As far as shortly after the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman delivered her speech, he said that this budget, which will boost investment and will pave way for Viksit Bharat or developed India. Let's join us and welcome Keshav Bhajanka, who is joining us here on the broadcast, who is the Executive Director of Century Ply. Good morning to you. Thank you very much for taking out your time. Firstly, how do you rate this budget? What exactly, when it comes to your expectations before the budget, has it now taken up to the expectation that you actually had from the budget? How would you rate it?
I think it is extremely well thought out and a comprehensive budget. I think that, there has been a very, very good pragmatism about the budget, while at the same time, it is focusing on the current requirements, which is to increase the consumption in the economy. And this change in tax slabs is going to help substantially. It is increasing the disposable income in the hands of consumers, and this is definitely going to lead to impetus in the economy.
So are you expecting more ease of doing business with the reforms that have been approached when it comes to, these expected? Is it expected, when it comes to further boosting Indian economy?
I think that the government for many years now and for many budgets has been focusing consistently on how to reduce red tape, on how to make things simpler for businesses. For instance, this year also there's a change in TDS regulations, and the government has been working on this year after year. So definitely, I think that ease of doing business is improving, and it is going to continue to improve. And in the current budget as well, the Honorable Finance Minister has said that India needs to become a manufacturing hub for the world. And I think in order to do the same, all the necessary steps are being taken.
Well, big announcement, especially when it comes to encouraging startups that have also been made. Do you believe that this is an incentive for more startup businesses as well?
Yes, definitely. I think the government has focused a lot on the MSME sector and on the startup sector as well. So overall, this budget is going to lead to both short-term uptick and long-term growth for the country.
So do you think that this budget effectively showcases a balance between Make in India and incentives, especially when it comes to the FDIs?
Yes, definitely. I think the government is looking to ensure that regardless of whatever happens, regardless of external shocks, our economy is strong and our growth trajectory continues to be maintained. So I think that there's a focus on both Make in India and this private-public partnership as well. This is a step in the right direction. I think overall, this is a budget that is going to lead to long-term growth for India as a whole.
All right. Mr. Bhajanka, thank you very much.